It's preseason in Cleveland, and somehow the Browns have already managed to set themselves on fire. The moment Shedeur Sanders stepped onto the field, it was like someone hit the reset button on the quarterback room and the internet. A rookie with legacy pressure on his back, poise in his veins, and cleats barely broken in, is now at the center of one of the most chaotic quarterback controversies we've seen in years. And the Browns? They're fumbling the whole thing like it's 4th and inches with buttered gloves. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. Because while Shedeur was out there commanding drives like he's been in the league for years, Dillon Gabriel, once thought to be the safer bet, looked more like a guy who accidentally wandered into an NFL scrimmage thinking it was a charity game. Fans are furious. The media is in a frenzy. And head coach Kevin Stefanski, he's doing his best impression of a confused emoji, standing in front of cameras and saying a lot without actually saying anything. This is no longer just about football. It's about identity, trust, and whether or not the Browns are capable of making the right call when it actually matters. So grab a seat, preferably not the one Dillon Gabriel's sitting in right now, because this one's getting messy. Let's rewind for a second. Coming into the preseason, the Browns were quietly optimistic. They had depth, a stacked roster talent, and what was supposed to be a low-drama quarterback battle between rookie Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, the high-profile son of Coach Prime himself. Gabriel, with his polished college resume and calm demeanor, was supposed to have the edge. He's experienced, he's smart, and he fits that old-school, trust-a-vet mold teams love to overvalue. Meanwhile, Shedeur, he entered the league with a tidal wave of media attention and skepticism. Nepo baby with swagger is how some sports radio shows described him. Critics called him too flashy, too media savvy, too confident, as if that's somehow a crime in 2025. But from day one, the vibes were different. Reports out of camp hinted that Sanders was winning over teammates. The receivers liked his energy. The O-line respected his command. Coaches even mentioned his coach on the field instincts. Still, Stefanski stayed neutral. We'll evaluate both guys, he said. It's a process. And then came the first preseason game. Gabriel got the start, and it was rough. Missed reads, wobbly throws, zero rhythm. By the end of the first quarter, you could almost hear the sighs of regret from the Browns front office. Enter Shedeur Sanders. Cool, confident, clinical. He walked onto that field like it belonged to him. And for the next 2 quarters, it did. Quick releases, smart audibles, and a connection with his receivers that had the crowd and Twitter erupting. The rookie didn't just play well. He looked like the guy. And suddenly, the safe choice didn't feel so safe anymore. Now, here's where things went from interesting to full-on sports soap opera. As fans lit up the internet demanding Shedeur as QB1, Dillon Gabriel tried to do some damage control. But instead of owning his performance, he made the cardinal mistake of blaming the entertainers in the media for fueling controversy. Yikes. That's the kind of vague shade that never lands well, especially not in Cleveland, where fans are practically allergic to excuses. And let's be honest, this wasn't some hyperreactive take from fans. Gabriel's performance was bad, like backup in the XFL bad. To make matters worse, his entertainer's comment echoed a now infamous moment from college ball. Remember the Colorado versus Oregon debacle where opposing coaches mocked Shedeur's flash? Yeah, fans definitely remember. The implication? That Shedeur, again, was the sideshow, the distraction, the problem. Except, Shedeur wasn't saying anything. He kept quiet, stayed focused, and let his game do the talking. It was Dillon throwing shade, and ironically, he ended up burning himself. Even the analysts got in on the drama. Chris Canty praised Sanders' leadership, calling it mature beyond his years. Shannon Sharpe, never one to hold back, roasted Gabriel's comments live, essentially saying, if you can't handle preseason pressure, what are you doing in the NFL? Meanwhile, Coach Stefanski, still doing that thing where he says, we're evaluating all options, while clearly panicking behind the scenes. He refused to name a starter. Again, and that silence, it was deafening. Reporters started dropping hints about locker room whispers. Some veterans, allegedly, were questioning Gabriel's ability to lead. Others were reportedly impressed with Shedeur's discipline and preparation. And suddenly, the Browns were no longer managing a quarterback competition. They were managing a team identity crisis. Because at this point, picking Gabriel felt like denial. Picking Shedeur felt like revolution. Now, with Week 1 looming, the Browns are in the worst possible position, paralyzed by their own indecision. Fans are ready to riot. Media outlets are running daily countdowns to Stefanski's next press conference like it's a Netflix release. And inside the locker room, sources say things are tense. Gabriel, once the presumed leader, now looks like a guy trying not to drop the clipboard he knows is coming his way. Every time he speaks, it gets worse. Because the damage is already done. He lost a fan base. He lost a narrative. And most damning of all, he might be losing the locker room. Meanwhile, Shedeur's doing everything right. He's not begging for the spotlight. He's earning it. He's letting his game speak, letting the media storm rage around him, and quietly collecting respect from teammates and analysts alike. And if you're Stefanski, you're stuck. Do you stick with a veteran and risk looking like a cowardly traditionalist? Or do you name Shedeur QB1 and admit the rookie's already surpassed the guy you thought would lead this team? Either way, it's not just a quarterback decision anymore. It's a statement about leadership, about the future of the team, about whether the Browns can finally stop tripping over their own legacy and start building something real. And right now, Stefanski is playing like a man who's afraid of picking wrong. But here's the thing. Indecision is a decision, and it might be the worst one of all. So here we are. A rookie came in, balled out, said nothing, and somehow started a firestorm that now threatens to consume the entire franchise from the inside out. And all Stefanski had to do was read the room. But instead of riding the momentum, instead of trusting what the players, the fans, and even the numbers were screaming, he's tapped, dancing around the truth, like it's an audition for America's Got Cold Feet. The Cleveland Browns had a moment, a real moment, and now they're watching it slip away because no one wants to be the one to admit the rookie won. So what do you think? Should Shedeur Sanders be the starter? Is Dylan Gabriel done in Cleveland before the season even starts? And is Stefanski already in over his head? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, make sure you're subscribed because we'll definitely be watching how this quarterback saga plays out. After all, in Cleveland, the drama always finds a way. Stay chaotic, football fans. And if you thought that was the end of it, oh no, this quarterback mess is just getting started. Because while the Browns stall at this uncomfortable crossroads, every single day that Stefanski doesn't make a decision is another day Shedeur gains ground, without even trying. That's the twist here. Sanders isn't campaigning. He's not begging for spotlight or calling out the coaches or demanding snaps. He's just existing. And somehow it's making the entire organization sweat bullets. That's power. You know what's ironic? For all the concern that Shedeur would bring too much attention, it's been Dylan who keeps making headlines for the wrong reasons. First, the entertainer's jab. Then, the post-practice interviews where he started referencing outside noise and media agendas, as if this isn't the National Football League, where drama is part of the weekly schedule. At this point, Gabriel feels less like a starting QB and more like the guy in a reality show who starts melting down in week 3 and says, "I didn't come here to make friends." Okay, Dylan, but did you come here to throw touchdowns? Meanwhile, Shedeur's pulling off a masterclass in how to let other people implode while you stay calm. He walks into the facility, puts in the reps, huddles up like he's already the leader of the team, and walks out like a man who knows exactly where this is headed. And he probably does. Because here's the thing, whether or not Stefanski says it out loud, everybody else already has. Fans, analysts, insiders, even some former players. The verdict's in. The people want Shedeur. And honestly, it's not hard to see why. The Browns are a franchise with a trust issue. It's decades deep. They've been through quarterbacks the way influencers go through brand deals. Hot for a second, then ghosted. So when fans finally see someone who looks like he could be a real, lasting solution, yeah, they're not going to sit back and wait politely. They're going to demand it, loudly, which is exactly what's happening right now. Cleveland sports radio is on fire. Fans are calling in, leaving voicemails, sending memes, some supporters, some savage, but all very clear. It's Shedeur or bust. You've got people making highlight montages of his 2 quarters like it's the second coming of Tom Brady. You've got retired players tweeting cryptic things like, the kid's got it, and you can't coach poise. It's a movement. And Stefanski, he's treating it like a PR nightmare when it's actually a golden opportunity. You've got the city behind this kid. You've got the locker room leaning his way. You've got the national media talking about the Browns for something other than scandal or tragedy. This is rare air. This is momentum. This is what every team dreams of until it lands in their lap and they freak out. But hey, maybe Stefanski's just not ready to hand the keys to a rookie. Maybe he's scared that if Shedeur starts and stumbles, the media will eat him alive and the fans will turn. But guess what? That's going to happen no matter who starts. This is Cleveland. It's not for the faint of heart. If you're afraid of pressure, get out of the AFC North. The longer he waits, the worse it looks. Every day without a decision is another day the team's identity hangs in limbo. Are they bold? Are they rebuilding? Are they trusting instincts or clinging to outdated hierarchies? You can't say you want to win now and then bench the guy who's clearly winning over the entire organization. And let's not forget, this isn't just about stats and scrimmages. This is a culture war. It's old school football politics versus the new wave of confident, media-savvy, take-control athletes. Dylan represents the old guard, the quiet, follow orders, do your job prototype. And Shedeur, he's the modern QB. Swagger meets strategy. Social media presence meets film room grinder. And guess what? One of those types is winning Super Bowls right now. This whole situation is like watching a reboot of a classic movie where the studio can't decide which actor to put in the lead role. Do they go with the safe, familiar name or the breakout star who's about to become a franchise? Spoiler alert, audiences can already tell who the better fit is. And while we're here, let's talk about what this means to Stefanski, because oh boy, the pressure is building. This isn't just about naming a starter anymore. This is a referendum on his leadership, his ability to read the room, his control over the locker room. If he makes the wrong call, or worse, refuses to make a call, it's going to haunt him. Every incompletion, every bad drive, every post-game press conference will be a reminder that he blinked in the moment of truth. And let's be honest, this fan base has been here before. The indecision, the bad calls, the wasted potential. They're tired. They want a coach who isn't just managing players. They want someone who gets it, who understands when the moment calls for boldness instead of bureaucracy. Stefanski doesn't have the luxury of playing it safe anymore. Not with this much at stake. Not with a locker room that's reportedly split. Not with a fan base that's watching everything. And don't think the rest of the NFL isn't paying attention. Oh, they're watching. They're seeing how Cleveland handles a golden rookie opportunity and how their head coach reacts when he's given an unexpected gift. You don't just luck into a Shedeur Sanders and then let fear make your decisions for you. This is a test. And so far, Stefanski's not exactly acing it. So what happens next? If Shedeur starts week 1 and wins, he's a hero. The city explodes. The narrative flips overnight. Stefanski looks like a genius, maybe even saves his job long term. If Gabriel starts and loses, the meltdown will be biblical. The fans will revolt. The media will pounce. The locker room might crack. And Stefanski, he won't just be on a hot seat. He'll be on a flaming office chair, getting wheeled out of facility. But the worst case scenario, the one we're currently heading toward, that's no decision at all. Flip-flopping, mixed signals, dragging it into the season without clarity. That's how teams fall apart before they even begin. This could have been a clean-cut, exciting transition. Instead, it's turning into a slow-motion disaster wrapped in coach speak. So yeah, the Browns are under fire, and it's not because of the fans. It's not because of the media. It's not even because of Shedeur Sanders. It's because leadership is doing what bad leadership always does when a big decision shows up: freeze. You want a culture change? Make one. You want to build a winning team? Back the guy who looks like a winner. You want the fans to believe again? Show them you're not just another Browns regime waiting to crash and burn. You want a QB controversy to go away? Pick the quarterback who ended the controversy the moment he stepped on the field. And just when you think